Normalize posting why you broke up on the internet. Just a quick story, you know, like, hey guys, Josh and I broke up, he cheated. Hey guys, you probably saw that all my photos of Paul are gone. He got a job in San Francisco. We don't want to do distance. Something quick, something easy. Because the group chat and I just spent an hour hypothesizing, and we may never know. The curiosity is going to kill us.
You know that sometimes when you see relationship couple channel or couple TikTok page, you see them doing all the whole loving, da 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 da. All of a sudden, you will not see the husband in the videos again, or you will not see the wife in the videos again, and you wonder what's going on. And you see that people don't address the fact that, oh, we are breaking up, unless the ones that still want to make money off their breakup, unless the ones that still want to allow traffic to still be on their page when they're no longer in that relationship. But most people try to just, hide the fact they've not even stop showing their partner in their relationship. They will not tell us what's going on. They'll be like, I'm not ready to share. Let's normalize, coming out to talk about how your breakup went, why you left your partner, what happened, and all of that. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section. I have some interesting videos to share with you all. Let's go ahead and watch the stitches together, and I'll be back to share my thoughts at the end of all the stitches.
Normalize posting why you broke up on the internet.
Him and his girl best friend at the time got married behind my back so that he could become a U.S. citizen because he really wanted to become a cop. He and I were both immigrants, so I couldn't sponsor him for U.S. citizenship even if I wanted to. His friend was always obsessed with him, so when he finally revealed to her his whole situation, she offered to marry him. She told him that the process was going to be super simple, so he went along with it. That was until she kind of backed him into a corner and started demanding that they move in together to make it look legit. And when he refused, that's when she decided to tell me. Because obviously she knew that I would break up with him and hopefully he would end up being with her. But he didn't want to be with her. Obviously did not want him back. So he ends up divorcing her, thinking I'll take him back. But I did not.
Normalize posting why you broke up on the internet. Just a quick story, like, hey guys.
This was such a fun day, an unhinged day on Instagram for me. This was the day I found out that my ex was cheating on me, so I made an Instagram post about it for everyone to see, and so I could announce the news that I had just found 30 seconds prior to posting this. For a lot of people, it was the first time ever even saying that I had a boyfriend, because I never really posted about him. But swipe to see what giving the nice guy who could give you the world a chance looks like. If you know, you know. Who was I? She had an attitude and she was a bad bitch that day and I miss her. Let me show you the other part. So at work all day, I had felt so anxious. I was sick to my stomach. Something felt really off. And he wasn't really texting me much that day anyway, so I just knew something was off. And the days prior to this, we weren't really texting as much. So he went off to South Carolina for that summer to work, and after that day at work for me, I went home, I downloaded Tinder, I paid for premium, and I put my location to exactly where he was. And within the first 2 minutes, here he was. This was the profile that I saw. One of the pictures, he even had a shirt that I bought him in a picture that he took that he had sent me. Anyways, not important. This was the bio. The bio alone makes me cringe. And I would have never swiped on someone with a bio like this. I think the fact that I met him in real life really affected that I actually dated him. But if I would have seen this, I would have never swiped. But after I saw this, I took a screenshot of it and I took it to Instagram. Didn't tell anyone that I found out. Made the post. That would be the first time that he saw it, or that because I didn't text him that I found out. I wanted him to see it on Instagram in real time with everyone else, including his mom, because his mom followed me. Wanted his mom to see what he was up to in South Carolina. without me. But yeah, this was an unhinged day. I miss who I was this day. I was a bad bitch that day. After that, I was a sad bitch. But in this moment, I was a bad bitch.
Normalize posting why you broke up on the internet.
No, I really agree with her, because when I broke up with my long-term boyfriend and I explained that I felt like I was settling and I started to talk about what that meant for me to my friends, I realized no one had ever articulated to me, this is what it looks like when you're settling. I had heard my whole life, don't settle, you deserve the best. And I had no idea what that meant, what that looked like. I definitely knew that the relationship I had did not look like my parents' relationship, and they have a great, healthy relationship. They communicate well, but I didn't know, like, if someone had to put a pinpoint on it, this means you're settling. I didn't see any of that. I had no idea. But as soon as I'm single and I'm talking about it to my older friends, to my divorced friends, like some divorced moms in the neighborhood, they were like, ooh, yeah. So let's talk about it. Number one, you fight all the time. When people would say to me, oh, we barely ever fight, like I don't remember the last time we argued, I thought they were lying. I thought you fought in every relationship. I thought that was normal. It's not. When you are compatible with someone, you will barely ever fight. And when you disagree over something with someone that you're compatible with, it's a totally different type of disagreement, because there's no resentment anywhere. Like, you truly are doing your best to see where that other person is coming from. You're not already annoyed at him because he has nagged you and picked at you and there's no underlying resentment. Seriously, you don't argue. Number two is, I felt like my boyfriend would have changed me if he could. That's not normal. He thought I wore too much pink. He wanted me to wear more black clothing. He didn't like my personality. In the car on the way to an event, he would say, don't talk about this, don't talk too much. On the way home from an event, he would say all the things I did wrong. It really felt like he loved me, but he did not like me. Number three is, you need to be compatible on what you want for the future. And I definitely talk about this very early on in dating. I talked about it my first date with my current boyfriend. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, have a bunch of kids. He grew up with a stay-at-home mom, had a bunch of kids. So in my head, I'm like, oh, sweet, I'm going to get that out of this relationship. No. I was working a 9-to-5 and doing an Etsy shop. I was probably working 10 to 12 hours a day, and he barely lifted a finger. He was like, oh, I support you, I'm going to help you. He didn't help. He didn't lighten my load. The man could not have run a household if he tried, because in his head, that was a woman's job, even though I was working more hours than him. You have to be able to live in a way that is compatible to your goals, both of you, without you having to nag him every single day, or it will not work.
Normalize posting why you broke up on the internet.
I'm not gonna lie, my friends and I also speculate about breakups. So I'm gonna tell you why my 5.5-year relationship ended. And the reason that it ended actually might be a reason why some of you guys would actually stick around in this relationship. My ex lied about sleeping with someone when they didn't. My ex and I were on and off for 5.5 years. We were together consecutively for like 4. He's always had a female best friend, which is fine. I always had my male best friends. And he was always really insecure about my guy best friends. And I guess to make it even, he always gave me reasons to be insecure about his girl best friend. In the 4th year of our relationship, when we broke up, we thought it was going to be the end of it. We started seeing other people. And then of course I started dating some guy for like 6 months, and then he cheated on me with my friend. That's a whole nother story. But as a rebound, I got back with my ex, which by the way, I would never, ever, ever recommend. Your exes are exes for a reason. Leave it that way. And this time when we got together, we were like, okay, this is the last time we're giving it a shot. And so as we're catching up and getting back together, we start talking to each other about what had been going on since we broke up the last time. And he shares with me that his girl best friend that he had made me feel so insecure about the whole time we were together, like the 4 years, that his girl best friend confessed to him that she loved him and they hooked up while we had broken up. And obviously that is not an issue because we weren't together. The issue was that the whole reason I was insecure about this girl best friend was just like then validated. So it was like the 4 years that we were together, I had a reason to feel how I did with this girl. And you know, whatever, we try to move forward because it was when we weren't together. Until we got into like a huge argument one day. I remember it was around Valentine's one day because I was still in college and he was like 2 hours away. He literally drove 2 hours to my apartment at college. to leave flowers at my door, which ick. He was always bad about respecting my boundaries, about like, I don't want to see you, I don't want anything to do with you, I don't want anything from you. There's another story on that later. But so we get into this huge argument, and I'm like, okay, you know what? We're done, we're breaking up. And his girl best friend actually reaches out to me on Facebook. I actually still have the Facebook message, and it's a really long one. Well, she says it's an essay. And then she's like, please just call me and don't respond to me with an essay like I did with you. And so we're on this phone call. I don't know why I decided to be like, okay, let me call this girl best friend who is in love with my ex at the time, who hooked up with him. Like, why would I give her the benefit of the doubt? I don't know. Anyways, we call, and she's just explaining like what a great guy he is, how much he loves me, just like all this BS, right? And so of course I'm like, how can you say that he loves me when you guys clearly have a thing for each other and you love him? I mean, you guys did hook up and date while we had broken up, so I can't really say if I believe everything you're saying or trust that your word is the truth. Okay, sorry guys, I'm gonna have to make part 2.
Normalize posting why you broke up on the internet.
Okay, I think enough time has passed that I can tell you guys the crazy story of why and how my ex and I broke up. So, my ex moved from interstate to live with me, and so he didn't really know anyone else that wasn't my friend in our town. So, we were talking about getting married. We were talking about spending our lives together. I thought we were getting engaged in like the next 6 to 12 months sort of thing. And then this woman named Joanne moves in next door. Now, it took us a while to warm up to Joanne because she was a little bit vague about her past. Like, we would ask her where she was from and she would kind of dance around the question. We would ask her, like, if she's married, she would dance around the question. She just wasn't very forthcoming with the information about her past. But we were like, oh, none of our business. Maybe there's some trauma there. Good for her. But she seemed pretty lonely. She didn't really know anyone in town either. So the three of us would hang out. We would do things together. We really started to trust Jo. We'd hang out all the time. Another strange thing about Jo is that she had a chemical burn to her eye, a chronic injury, right? It was a long time ago. It was healed and she should have been wearing an eye patch. But instead, she would just tape cotton, a new piece of cotton to her face every day. Very strange. Anyway, the relationship kind of turned from like the three of us being friends and her and I being closer to her messaging my boyfriend more and stuff like that. But I wasn't super worried about it because he's a friendly guy and whatever. So one day I go on a work trip and my boyfriend's like messaging me a little bit less than usual, but still messaging me. And I come home and he's gone and all of his stuff is gone. And I'm like, what the? So I start calling his family. I start calling my family. I start calling our mutual friends. I start calling anyone I can think of because he's not answering. And I'm like, where has he gone? Does anyone know where he's gone? And some people were like, we can't tell you that. It's not for us to disclose. I'm like, okay, so this is weird. He's plotted something crazy, weird. What have I missed here? Like, I'm like blaming myself, blah, blah, blah. And I had tried to text Joanne next door, Jo, and she didn't reply. And I was like, she always replies to me. This is getting mad sus. So about 2 weeks later, I go over to her house and I knock on the door and a man answers. I've never seen a man over there. And I say, hi, is Jo home? And he says, Joanne? Yeah, she was the previous tenant, right? And I was like, she's moved out? He's like, yeah, she moved away with some blonde guy. I was like, do you have a forwarding address? He says, yes. He gives me the address. It's only an hour away. I drive there. Sure enough, both of their cars are there. They're living together. They're together now. So I don't know where she come from. I don't know where she go. But if it hadn't been for Cotton Eye Joe, I'd been married a long time ago.
Normalize posting why you broke up on the internet.
I was in a 5-year relationship and then I decided to move to the US and he was super supportive. And then 5 months in, he was like, yo, I don't want to keep this relationship. I don't want to move. And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, where are you? He was living in my house without me there and just my mom for 5 months. And he broke up with me while still in my house. So for 5 months, he didn't pay rent, food, or anything. And then when he found a new job, a new girl, a new everything, a new place to live, he dumped me on the phone. On FaceTime, of course. And I had to yell, get the fuck out of my house! And that was 1 year ago.
Normalize posting why you broke up on the internet.
As someone who's literally just done that, also be prepared to go viral across the internet and go on your country's biggest daytime talk show to address it. I basically hung a sign around my neck saying, hey, I'm really vulnerable. I'm down and out, so if you want to kick me, here's exactly where to kick me where it'll hurt. And that's why a lot of people don't do this and why we shouldn't normalize it, because I've had the mental health to do it. But if you don't have that resilience, then actually doing something like that in the middle of an emotional crisis can actually be really dangerous for someone's mental health. It's been a lot to deal with. People have been really kind, really compassionate, but it's not for everyone.
Normalize posting why you broke up on the internet. Just a quick story.
Okay, fine. Just really quickly, I'll give you a recap. I dated this guy for approximately 2 years. We started a podcast together. It was all fun and all at, the beginning, but then I ended up having to go into therapy because when we were doing the podcast, he would always overstep my boundaries. I would tell him, hey, please don't tell everybody what my body count is. You know what he would do? Tell everybody my body count. It would go on like that, blah, blah, blah. Then he started to slut shame me every time I would post on Instagram. Then he started to hate when I would go out with my friends. Then he ended up accusing me of cheating on him and then told the entire internet, millions of people. I started getting death threats and all that sort of stuff. Ended up finding out a couple months later that he was actually watching cam girls behind my back and also potentially subscribing to girls' OnlyFans. That was insane. Then he started acting even weirder and weirder when he hung out with his friends. And then finally I found another girl's underwear in his bedroom. He called me the dirty bastard. I didn't fuck him for a month. Then after a month of not fucking him, he ended up telling me that he hated me so much he wanted to kill himself, so then I broke up with him. That's my life.
Normalize posting why you broke up on the internet.
I would also like to know why we broke up because I have no idea. But truthfully, if the Lord did not harden his heart randomly to break up with me out of the blue and come up with random excuses, I wouldn't have left. And I 1000% needed to leave that relationship, but I wasn't going to do it. So the Lord had to make it happen. And I am so thankful, and the Lord is so kind.
Normalize posting why you broke up on the internet. Just a quick story, like, hey guys.
Among a lot of things with this guy, like red flags here and there. And I mean, like, they were obvious red flags that I chose to ignore for a while, but I just couldn't take it anymore. He said this one line to me, and I broke up with him immediately. And it was, I love you more than my child. He had a child with someone else. He said, I love you more than my own child. I immediately went off on him, yelled at him, and told him that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. He started to build an obsession for me, wouldn't give me space, let alone let me see my friends if he wasn't there. He started to really let himself go as well. Like, he wasn't taking care of himself and he started to gain more weight. These are just the obvious other red flags. And aside from that, he had a slight pedophilia problem. And I say slight in a sense that he was following high school girls. And he had a weird obsession with Hannah Montana when she was like young, like the Disney movie Young. He had like a whole, like a big billboard of her, like a big, the cardboard, like tall of her. You can imagine what he was doing with that. But aside from that, yeah, he said those words to me and I was like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. So I broke up with him, but it doesn't stop there. As soon as I broke up with him, he faked a heart attack, one of which I believed, and it was the last thing I will ever believe with this guy. He faked a heart attack at my place. I called 911 and they came, and the first responders came. They told me right then and there, they did the checkups, everything, that he was fine, that he was hyperventilating and there was nothing wrong with him. I was so angry. I was so livid. I threw him out of the house. I was like, get the hell out. And after that, I never saw him again. I didn't want to see him again. I left a few things at his place and I didn't even care to go get it. Yeah, we were dating for a year. At the time, I was not a mother, but even I understood how wrong it is to put a child before a spouse in that sense. Like, that is his flesh and blood. That's his flesh and blood. And you love that spouse more than your child. There's something literally wrong with you. So, yeah, that relationship ended effectively that day. As soon as he said that.
Normalize posting why you broke up on the internet. Just a quick.
So my ex and I broke up because I had graduated from medical assistant school, and I wanted to celebrate because I was very proud of myself, and I wanted to go clubbing, and he said no to that. So I told him I'm gonna go with or without you, whether you like it or not. I'm gonna go celebrate and have fun. And so his response was, well, if you go, we're breaking up. And so I said, okay, peace. I'm going, okay? So yeah, we broke up because of that.
All right, what is your own breakup story? Would you like to share? Let us know down in the comment section. Respectfully, you all, if you really watch the stitches from the breakup stories, women coming out talk about their breakup stories, you will notice that most of them are talking about cheating. And yes, this is one major reason why women leave their partner: cheating, because this men, they're never satisfied with one particular partner and they always want different varieties. They always want to just, you already know. So yeah, what is your own breakup story? I personally, I don't think I have any breakup story to share, but then I would like to know your own breakup story. Let's just have breakup story down in the comment section today. Okay, I hope you find this video interesting. If you did, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section, and thank you all so much for tuning in today. My name is Maria Davis. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe and turn on the post notification button and get notified as soon as I upload another interesting video like this one. And of course, I'll see you all in my next one. Bye.